everyone. Rich Wildman here. We are on the air, and that's always a good thing. I'm looking over here at the mixer trying to find out which slider I need to move around to get my head clear of my own voice. Because I hear it at a delay of about a second, and it kind of throws me off. Anyway, Music Scene Investigation back on the air. We're glad you're here with us. We got a lot going on today. 3 new songs to go in front of our panel. It's going to be a lot of fun to hear what they think about them, what they have to say. We're going to find out what everybody out there thought about the 3 songs we heard from last week as well when Ian Friedman was on the broadcast with us. So stick around for that too. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to meet our panelist right now on today's broadcast. We're going to start out over in London, England, and talk with Mr. Ian Husbands. Hey, Ian, how the heck are you, my friend? Everything going all right with you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Just back off my holidays, so all is well.
Where'd you go on holiday?
We went to the south coast of England, to a little place called Camber Sands, which has got a very, very adorable beach.
So you went swimming?
I went swimming in the sea, yes, I did.
Did you catch any fish?
No, I generally catch fish when I'm fishing, not when I'm swimming.
I'm just saying, depending on what kind of beach it was, you may have had a lure out there.
No fishing, just plenty of relaxing, good food, lots of drink, and plenty of time with the wife and kids.
Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Glad you're back safe and sound, and everybody had a good time.
Indeed.
So let's go to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is where Andrea Bensmiller is. Andrea, how are you doing?
Good, Rich. Everything's winding down here on the summer.
Yeah, have you noticed that it seems like fall's coming a little early this year?
Well, it was super hot here last week, so no. but we are actually really excited about the summer ending because everybody's over it by the time we get to, September.
Well, you've only got a couple of more days until September, so hopefully things will start cooling down out there.
Yeah, I love the fall because I'm a fall clothes kind of person. I like jeans, I like boots, I like hats, and so I'm excited.
So we're going to see you on a fashion shoot or something like that sometime soon. The new fall fashions by Andrea.
Oh yes, look for me on the cover of Vogue. They call me every year. Like we can't do this without you.
Andrea jeans.
Yeah, it's it's kind of it's a burden because they're fashion people. They should be able to do this by themselves, but they just need somebody who's really a fall person.
No, I understand completely. I get it. So, good luck with that, and we'll definitely keep a lookout on newsstands. She's speechless now.
Yes, well, I don't know how to finish that story, but
I figured you'd just go into the story about you and Kim Kardashian and how you guys hang out all the time, and you actually taught her how to take selfies, but I guess not.
No, I take terrible selfies. So I'm getting private lessons from her.
Oh, okay. So the teacher has become the student.
Yeah. But she takes a lot of pictures of her bum area.
Yeah.
And see how I've become British just from hanging out with Ian?
I'm going
every
to the
other
bar.
week. I said bum instead of whatever we would say over here. But yeah, anyway, and I don't really take pictures of my bum. So that's why my selfie lessons have been kind of abridged.
Oh, well,
Probably quite lucky that you don't take a lot of pictures of your bum because Tommy probably wouldn't be here if you did.
Well, I don't think we should call Jay-Z a bum.
I don't know where to go with that.
Wrong guy. You mean Kanye.
Kanye. Oh, Kanye. Okay, he's,
Yeah, Kanye we can call a bum. I mean, when you really think about it. And you heard him there, you saw him for a brief second. Mr. Tom Chianti is our guest panelist from New York. Tommy knows this job oh so well because, well, frankly, he's done it a lot before. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with who Tom Chianti is, let me give you a little bit of information about this man and what he does and what he's been up to in his career. Tom has worked with some of the big guys and gals in music. Isn't that right, Tommy?
Yes. Well, this guy came to me a long time ago. He's a bum. What do I know? I know this business. I run this business, And he asked me, he said, Mr. Tom, can I have, a few $1,000s to do a demo? I said, sure. Knock yourself out. Make a demo. And, and I introduced him to this big butt lady I knew. She was hanging around. And they never call. And these people are just these music people, this industry. I know it. I should be running it. Vote for me.
Okay, well, there you go. We'll all vote for Tommy. And by the way, just on a serious note, Tom has worked with some real big players in the music business. He's worked with 50 Cent, Method Man, Cher, Celine Dion, Michael Jackson, et cetera, and so forth. Tom actually owns a production company called Alana Productions, which loves to help out indie artists with not only recording, but also mixing, mastering, and other recording techniques. So you definitely want to get a hold and befriend Tommy. He's a good man to have on your side. Tommy, tell me about what has been going on with you, what you've been up to. I know you work almost around the clock.
Well, yeah. Last night I spent many hours just staring at a computer screen, defragging a disc. One of the things you do when you have your own studio is you have to maintain it. And, not being, a major studio, you wear many hats. So I designed the studio. I also do consulting. I designed many rooms from small studios to large rooms in New York. And you also have to get into the construction and the maintaining of all the equipment. So defragging a disc is like like most people walk the dog. I have to defrag discs. I have multiple, like you, Rich. For your broadcasting, you have multiple computers. I've managed to tie together, a G4, a PowerPC, G5, and the newest Mr. Trashcan Mac Pro, going across 2 mix stations, one all analog, one digital. That's why everything's a mess behind me, because even though I tied it together, I'm a pretty messy when it comes to tying things. Nobody told me how to tie a bow neat. So,
but tying a bow is way overrated, Tommy. You know how that goes. Now, I know that last time you were on with us, and we haven't had you on in a while, but the last time you were on with us, you were actually in the process, I believe at that time, of recording some new music with Alana. And how did that go? Are things finished up on that front? Are you still in the middle of it? How are things over on that end?
It's I'd say it's 90% done, and when you in-house productions, you've always got 3 or 4 going. Some, with myself and Alana, who is also, throughout the years, I've become better at recording vocalists, just because she is an amazing vocalist, and she's taught me, so many things that vocalists do, and it helps put people at ease when you know their instrument, especially vocalists. So she's become an excellent producer from working with me, and it's great when you have a partner that you can bounce things back and forth. So we do 3 to 4 songs at a time, and some just are melodies, and like everybody's got bunches of ideas. Then there's the mixes that come in, and like I said, the consulting I do about when people want to know how to stock up their studio, especially now that there's just so much out there for every level. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment of riches, really. The technology has come down price-wise, and allowing amazing technology that you used to have to own a $2 million studio to afford, and so yeah, there's a lot of it's not just a production house. It's all around facility. Not commercial. I try to keep it word of mouth and pick and choose projects as to whose music interests me and their direction if they need help. There's some pro level, semi-pro level, even just I don't call it teaching, I call it mentoring. I used to do, as you remember, way back when I was on the round table, as we'll call it for now, as a permanent member of the Inn of MSI. I also did unscripted audio.
Right.
And I looked back, and the first actual webcast I did in 2003.
Yeah.
And now, my goodness, somebody, and maybe Ian had said it, or somebody had said it, that they saw a 9-year-old telling on a YouTube channel how to use a multi-band compressor. And you take this here, you pick your frequencies.
Well,
yeah, Mom, I know it's that time, but
as-
I'm doing.
As you mentioned, Tommy, and this is a very important point you make, technology has come down in price, and because of computers, things have gotten easier for everybody to use. I mean, like you mentioned, years ago, you would have a significant investment in cash for a professional studio, and in today's world, you can get by with a heck of a lot less.
Well, to give you an example, we'll go back to just the 90s. If you wanted to make a quality, professional standard CD, LP, whatever, you could take that same amount of money and now build your own facility to do your own music. And this is a boon to the independent musicians. And I bless that part of it because a lot of people are finding their way, their voice, and there's always a downside where the quality people have been calling into question that, but it has a lot more to do than just that because everybody can record that they're doing it now. It also has to do with market trends and streaming services and.
Yeah.
How people have gotten used to compacted, condensed MP3s versus the linear or more expansive digitized versions of WAV files and whatnot. And a quick little lesson is basically when you have an analog song, it's a linear, no broken up sound wave. And when you digitize it, it's billions, millions of little square snapshots of your wave. So you lose lots of the information. So sometimes you lose bottom, sometimes you lose top of clarity. And then you take that and then use algorithms, these MP3, FLAC, and whatever's out there, MP4s, and they arbitrarily will drop without any musicality, bits of information to make the file smaller.
Right.
So you're losing quality of sound, depth, size, from the format where, you'll take an artist, even the independent artist who has their own studio will sweat out a mix, whether they hire somebody or do somebody, and They'll do it at a nice resolution and get it sounding really good.
And then compress the hell out of it.
Well, in more ways than one. There's the information loss through digital compression to stream it. And then there's also, the unfamiliarity of knowing how to really use some of these plugins and technology that people have spent years learning. So the sound of music, pardon the pun, is changing.
Yeah, well, that's true. We've seen that in regular pop radio play over the years, and I think everybody will agree with me on that. But, rather than have a master class on music, which I would love to do sometime, by the way, I think we really need to get to some of the music we have from the artists that we need to listen to today. But before we do that, I need to go back to Ian, because he and I have a bit of unfinished business from last week.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, that's not what I heard. Anyway, last week we had Cross Quarter Day, Project Midnight, and Sminky on the broadcast with us. So, Sminky, not Pinky, but Sminky. And I want to know what the witness statement said from that, Ian.
It did. It said something. You're right. Well done. Well,
I'll have you know I voted, Ian.
Yeah, not everyone was in agreement. There was only a couple of voters again this week. Come on, guys. We need your votes. We need your opinions. We need to see if we're doing this right or not. But, those people that did vote didn't necessarily agree with us, I'm afraid. For songwriting, song 1 got 50% of the vote, and song 3 got 50% of the vote, and song 2 that we put through as Song of the Week didn't get anything.
Really? I'm surprised.
So, best performance, song 1 got 50% of the votes, song 2 got 50% of the votes, song 3 got no percent of the votes.
Okay.
And on best mix and production, there was only one vote, and that was for song 2, our Song of the Week. So, yeah, it was a bit of a mixed bag, you could say.
Yeah, I would call it an even split, that no song won in the witness statements at all. They were pretty much evenly split.
So, yes.
Kind of interesting. Who texted you, by the way?
Work.
Tell them to just go take a dive. You're not doing it until tomorrow.
It's your time now.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work like that.
Well, all right. You do that. You talk to them while we get
So I don't need to talk. It's just information that I needed to, need to know.
All right.
We're all good.
Okay, you got new David Bowie stuff to do tomorrow, so it's...
No, I don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. New Dolly Parton stuff to do tomorrow.
I don't do that anymore either.
Okay, all right.
How long have you known me, Rich? Come on, you're making me feel like you just don't listen to a word I say.
What is that? Did he say something, Tommy? I thought he said, Andrea, what was it? I'm going to the bar or something, maybe?
Yes, it was something to that effect.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we do have music for everybody to take a listen to today, and our panel will let everybody know what they think of it after hearing it for the first time on today's broadcast. So without further ado, we're going to get things started with song number 1 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Everybody sit back, enjoy. Here it is. This is song number 1 on today's MSI.
On my son's wedding day, he asked me for advice. Asked Dad, what's the secret for a happy married life? Son, I said it's simple. It stood the test of time. I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. I know you're thinking something else, but put that thought right out of your mind. Forget that word called compromise, 'cause she's right every time. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Marriage is a partnership, it is until the end. Always lift up the toilet seat and put it down again. So she won't have to do either, she'll always be your friend. That's the marriage partnership, somebody say amen. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Keep your ideas to yourself, it will save you lots of time. Best a man be seen, not heard. Don't ever cross that line. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Don't raise your voice too loud to her unless to say yes, dear. Behind every successful man, a surprised woman is standing near. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. I know you're thinking something else, but put that thought right out of your mind. Forget that we're called compromise, 'cause you're wrong every time. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Son, I said the secret that stood the test of time. I don't try to run her life, and I sure don't try to run mine.
There you have it. That is track number 1 on today's MSI. We're going to start out our reviews with Mr. Ian Husbands. Ian, track number 1. What are your thoughts on this one?
Okay, right. Where are we at? So we've got a very simple track here. We've got an acoustic guitar and vocal piece. And a lot of the time when we hear these on MSI, we generally have a lot of criticisms of the way the vocal's been recorded, or the way the guitar's been recorded, or the way they've been mixed together. But this, to me, purely and simply as a guitar and vocal piece, the mix is great. The vocal and the guitar sit together lovely. It's a nice tone on the guitar. You've got a strong song. Yeah, it's a cliched country track, but again, it's got a nice little hook there. It's got a good arrangement. There's a good country song here. I mean, what are you looking for from this? I mean, you could go a few different ways with this from the point of view of making it more of a country recording. I was hearing the fiddle, I was hearing the brass drums, I was hearing maybe a stand-up bass or something like that on it. So you could go that direction, or you could make it a bit more modern with a proper drum kit and a proper bass, and maybe some even slightly heavier sort of guitars. You've got a track here which is open to suggestion from a point of view of what you want to do with it, and it will lend itself to anything. Oh, it is a country song. You can't get away from that. The guy's vocal, which is very good. His vocalization, his phrasing are spot on. He's got the right accent. His pitch is good. His timing's great. It is what it is. You've got a very good, well-recorded song of a vocal and guitar track. It could go many, many ways, but I'm sure if you've got the talent to record this, make this sound this good, then whatever you do with the band is going to be good as well.
All right. Well, I appreciate your thoughts there, Ian. And over to Andrea next and her take on track number 1. Andrea?
Yeah, this is the minute it started, I thought it's well recorded. The guitar was nice. It came in. We never really know what's coming next. So the vocal came in. I think the guy has a nice voice. Again, really well recorded. And it's a good song. It's kind of that classic example of a little country story song. It's structured correctly. The verse is separate from the chorus. It's got a nice hook. it's kind of, it hits all the bases in terms of being a solid country representation. And then, yeah, of course, it needs to be produced. It needs something, the band, some, some additions. Even if it was simple, it could just use a little bit of dynamics and some instrumentation that would really bring out the character of the track. So I liked it. It has a lot of places to go. The only criticism I have of this actual recording is I heard some phasing sometimes in the sentences that had S's in them. The very first one was, "Son, I said it's simple." And there was this very prominent phasing on the vocal. And I think it might have been the de-esser or it might have been a compressor, but whatever it is, when those S's hit it, it really was kind of obvious there was an artifact on there. So other than that, I thought, good song, good voice, good, good start. And there's a lot of places to go with this. It would fit really well on country radio, so maybe produce it and see what you can do.
All right, very cool. I appreciate it, Andrea. Thank you very much. I think Tommy's turned his lights off now, but that's okay. We're going to go to him anyway, find out what his thoughts are on track number 1. Tommy?
Okay, yeah, they gotta get to the lights in the studio, add to the heat with the board and everything else. So occasionally I do. And besides, this is the darker side of Tom.
Okay.
I really have to agree with everybody, what has been said. As far as a good hook, I mean, the most memorable thing to me about the song was "Put the Toilet Seat Down." This guy's very talented. He's got a great voice, and the guitar and everything was done excellent. And had it been this to me strikes as, I don't know if he's being ironic, sarcastic. I doubt he's being. Well, it did lean towards like a novelty type of thing, or not really a comedic song, that genre or whatever. It just, it's done so well. I expected, the melody is strong, his voice is strong, the playing is strong. As everybody said, everything's done great. I would have expected that type of energy would have gone into a better song about a better subject, or at least treating a man-woman relationship as a partnership in more romantic storytelling tones and traditional, like, country music's traditionally, they have a story or a scene that they describe, and it's very emotional. I found on this topic that I was emotional-less, if that's a word, if I may. As I said, the guy's very talented, and because this is one of the times where I would have expected a better song. The structure's fine. It's just the topic, I guess. I'm all about presentation, and I think it could have been presented better. Again, the vocal came in, and like Ian said, the guitar strums very suggestive of the brush drums. I thought it was a classic country intro, the a cappella voice, nice reverb and everything. And then, the guitar came in. I said, oh, well, maybe he's going to do a long build. It's a 3-minute song. And this, I think, might be the new model for a stripped-down presentation for a demo in Nashville, because it's done Nashville quality. Where you don't have to have a fully produced song. You say, here's my idea, here's the song, it's perfectly done. Give it to a producer or publishing for catalog type of compilation. And yeah, it could go in any number of different ways. I love the way it's done. I just think that it's talented enough to express himself better.
All right. I appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you very much. All right. For everybody's information, song number 1, it's called I Don't Try to Run Her Life, and it's by Frank Watson. Frank, we appreciate your sending that track in Music Scene Investigation. If you're out there and you want your song in front of our panel, all you need to do, it's very simple, is go to musicsceneinvestigation.com. Click on Submit a Song at the top of the page and follow the information and rules there. Make sure you read them. If it's over 5 minutes, there's a chance it could be cut early if it's played for our panel, or maybe even not played at all. So you want to make sure you read and follow all of the rules there. All right.
And don't forget, while you're there, please help us out and hit a donate button for PayPal. These shows cost money, and to keep this on air, which is what we're trying to do, we need your help, guys. So if you can hit that donate button, that'd be brilliant.
All right.
Yeah, I could put my lights back on then.
There you go. Hit that donate button so Tommy can have lights. All right, 2 more songs to take a listen to, everybody. Let's go ahead and start up song number 2 on the show today. So here it is, everybody. Sit back, enjoy this one. This is track number 2 on today's MSI. That is song number 2 on today's MSI. I was just doing the mashed potato in the background, by the way. Thought I'd throw that out there for anybody who's interested in 60s dance styles. All right,
I thought you were
let's.
cooking.
Well, no. I was doing the mashed potato. Never mind.
Can you do the Shreveport monkey?
I can do the monkey. I can mash potato. I can do the twist.
And just to remind you, Rich,
Yeah.
we were actually doing the radio show and no one could see what you were doing.
I know it. It's sad, but you can watch it on YouTube after the fact because we do record video of this show for everybody to take a look at if they're so inclined. Of course, watching me dance, I've got to warn you, is not for kids. Please don't let them see that at all. It would not be a pretty thing. All right,
When
over
he
to
starts twerking, you've got to worry.
exactly. Over to Andrea for her thoughts on track number 2. Andrea, what do you think of that track?
Okay, I'm not gonna say the obvious things. The very, very clear '60s influence here, and the very clear Beatles influence here. Whether that's a good idea or not in today's music climate, I don't know. It's not something that I would gravitate towards, but there are people out there maybe who are really just waiting for the revival of all of this very heavy 60s sounding stuff to come along. It's possible. You never know. Overall, I thought that the song itself, it nails the style perfectly. It sounds like the band is playing really well. The mix is the one thing that really kind of was a little bit too everything about it is very spacey, and certain things are really too loud. The organ to me too loud, the horns too loud, the vocals couldn't really make out much of the words, so that was a little bit distracting because you did kind of want to listen to see what the lyrics were about other than the I love you part, but I couldn't understand them, so it was hard to get into that part. So yeah, some work on the mix would definitely need to happen. I thought the solo was a little pointless. It didn't really feel like a solo. It felt like, oh, let's do this section where everybody's louder and this guitar is kind of doing way too much. So that needed some simplification to me. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's for a recreation of the style and the sound of the 60s. It nails it. Whether that's going to translate to today's listener, I don't know. I think that some of the stuff that people are hearing out there that's a throwback to music of the 60s and the 70s, you have to realize it's been modernized, it's been updated, and that's why it's also likable too. So yeah, just my opinion. I'm not nuts about it. It's not horrible. It's done well for what it is, but it wouldn't necessarily be something that I would keep listening to.
All right. Well, Andrea, thank you very much. And I got to wonder myself how big that band was. It sounded like there were a lot of people in it, or they had a lot of MIDI instruments going on. I don't know which. Maybe Tom can let us know. Tommy, what do you think about track number 2?
I think this would have done great in the Brady Bunch movie. Yes, it's got that strong early mid-60s vibe, has been stated. The biggest problem, and this is like 4 hours short of the final mix, which really is distracting because they have nailed the style. And the biggest problem is the vocals, and it's not necessary. Not all the time is it a matter of when you're doing such vocal parts, choruses, doubles, and layers. It's as much about the voicings as it is about the EQ. The Beach Boys had richer harmonies because they had, higher voicings on their harmonies that cut, so that the lower, the register started lower and then rose, was felt more than heard, and the clarity was got from the higher harmonies. This could also have been done with more compression and EQ in this. And the reason why I say this is like 4 hours short of a mix is because as a mixer, you get to a point where you've got your sounds and they're all sounding really good, or you think they're sounding really good, and balance is the next, the next point of order. And of course, in certain situations, the clock is your enemy. I think the gentleman that mixed this should have, or maybe didn't have the right amount of time to rebalance after he got the sound. As Andrea said, the organ was loud and the drums were a little too splashy. Usually we complain that there's overcompressed. This definitely could use tightening up. And the reason I'm going on about the mix is because the song itself is as Andrea said, it's nailed the vibe and the era, and it stayed true to it as opposed to modernizing it, which may or may not have a place. But, in the world of independent music and is so large, everything falls into a place eventually if it gets heard. This, I don't think people would have the patience to pick and piece through the unbalanced and spread outness of everything that really the starting it starts with the sounds are starting to just come together. I really get the feel that the guy was like mixing this along with maybe 4 other songs or just didn't get the time to do it because it's going in the right direction vibe-wise and sound-wise. It just unfortunately falls short of getting there. A quick fix in mastering may bring vocals up more, tighten the whole thing up, but it's going to take a real good mastering job. And the song itself, it doesn't really get a chance to unfold because it's all convoluted and lost in the mix. So you can feel, did you ever, it reminds me back in the day going to the beach where you have the windows down and the radio blasting and you still can't hear anything because there's too much sound coming in.
Yeah.
And that's the feel I got from this.
All right, Tommy, I appreciate your thoughts, and now we'll head over to Ian and get his. Ian, track number 2, my friend.
Yeah, what can I say? The guys have covered it, really. It's got a very, very authentic 60s sort of Beach Boys-esque, Beatlesque, Phil Spector type of sound to it. But it mixes all over the place. You can't really understand the vocals properly in places, which is a shame. A song like this should hang on those vocals. It's just unbalanced, it's toppy, it's a wall of sound, really. Everything's competing for space, everything's competing to be in that mix, and it loses its dynamic from that point of view as well. So as the guys have said, there's a really good thing here. I could hear this as, if this was mixed differently, this could work really well in sort of one of those retro sort of kickback films as part of the soundtrack. If we do an original soundtrack, it would fit perfectly. But has it got a place in today's market outside of that? I don't think so. But needs that mix into more than anything.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you as well. Now, the information about song number 2. Song number 2 is called I Love You, and that's by Modesty, Blaise, and we appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation as well. All right, one more track to take a listen to on the show today. We're going to hit it right now, so I certainly hope you enjoy it as well. After that, we'll find out what our panel thinks our song of the week should be. So here we go with song number 3 on today's Music Scene Investigation. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Should you? Should I? Should we?
that's the question. So please don't hesitate, 'cause this life is short now, that's certain. And I certainly can't wait to say goodbye. Should I say goodbye? Would you shoot me if I chose to leave? Say goodbye. Should you? Should I? This horrible indecision, why won't it go away? Will it be here to the bitter end? I hope not, 'cause I really don't want to say goodbye. Should you, should I say goodbye? And would you shoot me if I chose to leave? It said goodbye. Should you, should I? So that's the wonder of running this machine called life. Still don't know how to operate it. Don't know which switch to hit that would make it click. 'Cause I wouldn't have to say goodbye. Should you, should I say goodbye? Would you shoot me if I chose to leave and said goodbye? Should you, should I? Should I say, should I say, should you, should I say goodbye? And would you, if I chose to leave and said goodbye? Should you, should I? Should I say goodbye?
Now, first of all, I want to go on the record and say I do not have sausage fingers. All right? See? No sausage.
I didn't say sausage fingers. I said fat sausage
I'm
fingers.
just saying, no sausage fingers here. All right, we're going to go to our panel in just a second. However, I do want to ask that everybody fill their witness statement out and let us know what you think about what you've heard on today's show. MusicSceneInvestigation.com/witness is where you can do that at, as we go over to our panel to find out their thoughts on the third track of today's show. We're starting with Mr. Tom Chianti, recording engineer, producer extraordinaire. Tommy, what do you think about track number 3?
Thank you for playing the B-side of track number 2. As we go towards the psychedelica of the 60s. At first, I got a very interesting vibe of some early Doors sound, a little verby. And then the verb just kept coming and coming. And just when I thought there wasn't enough verb, it spreads out and everything's got more verb. And again, I liked the melodically where it went with the structure. The voices is pleasant. It fits the music well. This is a good start of a song that could go another minute. We commented before the show how all the songs were 3 minutes or just about. And I was joking, this is AM 60s radio, and lo and behold, it's an interesting take. Again, it falls short either because there wasn't enough time or to complete the full presentation of the idea. It had some interesting phasey, flanging things come. The piano just sort of knocked me out of my chair, came in too loud. It's really not balanced well. You could hear the vocals, but everything was swimming. Again, if the second song was with the windows open, driving to the beach, this is the windows open, driving into the water as everything is swimming in the car, is filling with the water. It's just too verby. It needs to really nail down and solidify the idea more. It's an interesting idea. It could use some updating in spots to make it go progressive rock, or but as it is, again, like I said, seriously, it sounds like an alternate side of the other track. I like the guy's voice. I like the melodic interestingness of it, if that may use that word, and it's just the presentation really just doesn't carry through, and it's the beginning of something though, much whereas the other one nailed the idea but didn't quite come into the mix right. This is floating literally around the idea, and again, it's presentation. You want people not to struggle to hear what you've written or what you're playing, and you don't want them to be offended by what may or may not be an interesting part by being it too loud or too soft or just lost in a sea of wash. And that would be my title for this song. I like it, don't get me wrong. I just really wish the presentation would be better. If songs 2 and 3 had the quality and a forethought of songs 1, these songs would be outstanding. Unfortunately, they lack.
All right. I appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you very much. Now we'll go over to Ian Husbands. Ian, track number 3 over to you, sir.
Okay, this to me had an element of the sort of Cure and the Smiths and bands like that. And yeah, I like the guy's voice. Sort of Morrissey came to mind, and Robert Smith, as I said, from the Cure. I like the melody. I liked the idea. It sounded to me sort of like a sort of 80s gothic-y Britpop type sound, you know, that sort of dark stuff that was being put out that sort of time. And I don't know, the mix was all over the place, as Tom was saying. The reverbs were just wrong. There were too much in places. There was far too much space in this track for my liking. You know, some of the instrumentation felt very isolated, very to the left or right, or very wide. And nothing seemed to sort of sit together and pull together. So you need to go back and revisit that. The drums sounded very dry, for example, and they were really not so much they were too loud, but they just really stuck out because they weren't blending with the rest of the instrumentation in there. And it's an important thing. Again, you kind of got quite a nice arrangement here, quite a nice song going on. You've got a hook. Would like to have more layered vocaling in places. That's something I like to hear a lot in tracks at the moment, and this seemed to lack a little bit in that department. And, you know, just revisit your production. You've got some good sounds going on there, but again, they're not quite gelling together. You know, go back and listen to bands like the Smiths and the Cure and see what they're doing. As Tom was saying, you know, some of the phasing on the pianos and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, there's a very 80s reminiscent track here for me, and I like that from that point of view, but it does need a lot of work.
All right. I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you. Now over to Andrea and her thoughts on track number 3. Andrea?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about the mix because I think it's been covered. I really want to just talk about the arrangement. I think some people in music now have trouble understanding what arrangement actually is. And you know, they think about arrangement when they go into the studio as like, oh well, I've got my keyboard player and my bass player and my drummer, and they all playing the things that we're playing when we're playing together, right? And there, that's it. You know, that's how we're thinking about this, the instrumentation of this song. But really, really good arrangement, especially really good production arrangement, is based on a much higher level of thinking than that when you approach your other instruments. It's really about looking at, you know, what is the keyboard part playing? Is it playing just the chords in triads? Is it playing, are we relying on an effect to make that part interesting? Can we take the chord and, you know, either invert it in a different way or spread it out or make it different in some way so that it actually has a certain element of complexity, right? And when we do that with all of the instruments across the spectrum, what you end up getting is what you hear in modern arrangement that's so riveting. I'm not going to say it's easy to do. I'm not going to say that your producer is necessarily going to be able to help you with that, but it's the goal. And to become better at this whole thing that we call songwriting and production and arrangement, you can't eliminate that part because it's to me, this arrangement was as basic as it gets. There's virtually no production. It's basically, oh, here's a part, let's throw this piano part in right here and phase it and make it go right, you know? And that kind of simplistic production and arrangement doesn't really carry your song very well. It didn't give me a clear idea of what this band is like. It didn't give me a clear idea that the song is from a specific time. It has elements of lots of different things, but it didn't draw me in. It didn't make me feel like, oh, I like the song and I want to actually really listen to these people. So that's what really struck me the most. The song itself, it's kind of an okay hook idea. It's not incredibly strong. It's not poetic. You know, should you and I say goodbye? And we hear that say goodbye thing a lot. But it could become a more complicated song if that arrangement had been really cared for and loved. So I would say, yeah, there's trouble with the mix, but there's also really some trouble with how you're trying to make the music part of the song sound. And that needs some effort. It needs some time and some thinking, or maybe some better musicians who are going to say, I'm going to take it in this totally different direction, because that could really help. So that's my take on it.
All right, Andrea, thank you very much. Now, song number 3 for everybody's information is called Should You, Should I, and that's by Robert Nix. We appreciate their sending that track into Music Scene Investigation as well. Now we have a job to do, or at least our panel does. I never have anything to do because they don't let me do anything, but that's okay. They
Shut
need
up and
to,
press the buttons.
Yeah, that's all I get to do, but that's the fun part, see? Pressing the buttons.
Yeah, and you have way too much fun.
I have way too many buttons, too. All right. We need to have you guys make a Song of the Week determination. Hopefully our audience out there has already made theirs by filling out their witness statements. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you make that decision on what you believe the Song of the Week should be.
All right, I'm going to jump in. Now, a lot of the time on MSI, the tracks that are best produced do take the sort of ground of Song of the Week. This week, I'm going to go against that. I'm going to go for track number 1, our vocal and acoustic piece. I think that the latent talent shown on that track with the vocal and the guitar playing and from the point of view of how clean and well recorded that piece was. And then moving on to the quality of the song, I think I want to put my vote towards this, so to encourage the artist to go and produce this track properly, whereas the other two pieces I feel are unfinished mix-wise and need some attention more so. They're probably easier fixes, but I would like to encourage track number 1 to go on and do that.
All right.
I agree. That would be my choice.
Okay, so...
For all the same reasons. I don't even have to say anything today. Ian's just going to do it for me.
All right.
I'm talking for you, Andrea.
All right, Tommy?
You know, that's why I'm glad Andrea's here. Like, she says what I mean. When she got into about the productions, and a lot of times, you know, the mix can't fix everything. And when she brought up the point about everybody just play their parts, you can't just, somebody's got to be the producer, either by default or whatever, and make the decisions. And in song 2 and 3, those decisions were not made. You know, you can't just have cool instruments playing all over each other, or good vocals singing on top of each other. And again, as I said, she says what I mean. Despite my awkwardness about number 1, and I disagree with Ian as far as it needing them. It's actually recorded so well for track number 1. All somebody has to do is throw that in a door and add parts, and it's done. So I would go number 1 also.
All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Track number 1, unanimous.
Wait a second.
All right.
I need to clarify something here.
I
right?
can't congratulate. All right, I'll wait.
Sorry, see, this is important, and you'll see why in a second. Andrea stated to me that she didn't have to say anything today because I was saying everything for her. And then Tommy went on to say how much he couldn't agree more with Andrea, which basically means that I said everything Tommy meant.
No, you didn't. Andrea said everything I meant, except that you said everything she meant.
I'm confused.
Yes. In an odd, convoluted universe, we're all just speaking out each other's asses.
I'm taking it as a backhanded compliment because he couldn't do it directly, so he had to do it through you, Andrea. That's what it was.
Again, a big congratulations going out to Frank Watson. I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. I like that. That should be the whole title. And anyway, congratulations to him on our Song of the Week selection. Tommy, Andrea, and Ian, thank you. Thank you very much, especially Tommy, for being here. It's great to have you back with us on the show, always.
Next time, let's have some longer songs so that we can have longer songs.
Okay, well, I'll see what I can do.
Was Pinky listening to the pre-show because he wants to write a song called Take a Picture of My Bum?
He may have been. I don't know. And if he is, how does he do it? That's just the part I'm fascinated with. Thanks, everybody, for being here with us on Music Scene Investigation. Don't forget, if you like what we do and you want to help us do it, hit that donate button on every page of the site. You can find it. I'm sure you can. It's at the right-hand side as you're looking at it. Said, don't be afraid.
Hit it, but actually complete the entire process.
Good point, because Ian was hitting it all day long the other day, and nothing happened because he didn't complete the process. So yeah, follow through, but let us know you like what we do by doing that. We really would appreciate it. As much as we appreciate you showing up and being here with us every Sunday. Ian, Andrea, Tommy, thanks for being here, guys. We're going to play out with Frank Watson. I don't try to run her life on MSI. Thanks for being here, everybody. We'll see you again next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, all.
On my son's wedding day, and he asked me for advice. Asked Dad, what's the secret for a happy married life? Son, I said it's simple. It that stood the test of time. I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. I know you're thinking something else, but put that thought right out of your mind. Forget that word called compromise, 'cause she's right every time. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Marriage is a partnership, it is until the end. Always lift up the toilet seat and put it down again, so she won't have to do either. She'll always be your friend. That's the marriage partnership. Somebody say amen. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Keep your ideas to yourself, it will save you lots of time. Best a man be seen, not heard. Don't ever cross that line. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Don't raise your voice too loud to her unless to say yes, dear. Behind every successful man, a surprised woman is standing near. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. I know you're thinking something else, but put that thought right out of your mind. Forget that word called compromise, 'cause you're wrong every time. No, I don't try to run her life, and I don't try to run mine. Son, I said the secret that stood the test of time. I don't try to run her life, and I sure don't try to run mine.